We now have images of the two men the FBI now calls suspects to go along with the carnage from Monday's Boston Marathon bombings. My colleague Bill Hemmer again tonight in Boston. Good evening, Bill.
Yeah, hey, Brett, good evening to you. Moments ago, Massachusetts State Police on their official Twitter feed sent out the following note. Marathon bombing suspect number 2 in the white baseball hat, highlighted in profile. Note pronounced jaw, nose, and dark hair. Call 1-800-CALL-FBI. And with it, they attached a picture on that feed a moment ago. So here is what we have now. In the past 90 minutes, some fast-moving developments on images and video of two different individuals seen on camera, captured on film, surveillance camera, and now released for the public to discern. Suspect number 1 wearing a dark hat, walking in the foreground. Suspect number 2 wearing a white hat, seems to be a bit more casual, without sunglasses and a baseball cap worn backwards, walking in one image at least about 10 to 12 feet behind suspect number 1. The FBI says that they have video evidence of suspect number 2 dropping and leaving bomb number 2 at the scene of the Boston Marathon at 2:50 Eastern Time on Monday afternoon. Also, police are saying tonight, Brett, that if you see other images other than the 2 on your screen, ignore them. Whether they're on websites or whether in newspapers, those photos are considered not credible. And I thought also there was a very telling comment from the FBI agent in charge. He said each piece of evidence moves us forward to justice, and they are hoping for just that very soon from Boston as this story takes a significant turn in the past 90 minutes.
Yeah, to your point, Bill, a lot of different information flying around there. One about the Saudi national who was questioned on the first night. He was injured in the attack, hospitalized, questioned, and neither a suspect nor is he being deported. There's a second Saudi, according to U.S. officials in the Boston area, who was arrested on a visa violation and may be deported but has no connection to the bombing. That's what ICE is saying tonight. So it's important from an FBI perspective that they're saying these are the two guys and there's nothing else.
Yeah, indeed, you're right, and that's a great point to make here. And those individuals that you just mentioned there did not even come up in the press conference that we watched here. It wasn't a long statement. It lasted about 10 minutes in length, a couple questions at the end, but not a lot of detail that was provided other than the statement that the FBI wanted to put out and those pictures that are now so critical. And with that point now, you know, we've talked about the appeal on behalf of the public since this story began. This is a direct appeal to the people of Boston that if you know these people, to call 1-800-CALL-FBI. The number count there is 225-5324. But also on the government website for the FBI, there is a separate category set up exclusively for tips to be emailed in, bostonmarathontips.fbi.gov. Yeah. I think that is very important, Brett, because even yesterday, we had an individual with great clarity and great photos from the finish line. 20 minutes before the bomb went off, he had left with his wife and kids. He had his wife's camera, Brett. It was a good, high-quality, powerful camera with digital images that showed so many people on one side of the street. So you can imagine right now what they're pouring through. But two great pieces of evidence released publicly tonight.
Okay, Bill Hemmer, as always, thank you, live in Boston. Let's get some analysis.
From Dagestan, next door to Chechnya, but we are told that they are ethnic Chechens. However, they apparently have been in this country for many years. They are green card holders. They are permanent legal residents and at various times have been in school in the Boston area. A short while ago, reporters found one of their relatives, a man who says he is the uncle of the two men, and he made this appeal to Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, who is still on the run.
Right now, he is still
I say, Dzhokhar, if you're alive, turn yourself in. and ask for forgiveness from the victims, from the injured, and from those who left. Ask forgiveness from these people. We're not requiring forgiveness in this family. He put a shame. He put a shame on our family, Tsarnaev's family. He put a shame on the entire Chechen ethnicity. Because everyone now they play with word Chechen. So they put that shame on the entire ethnicity. So that's what I would say. Turn yourself in, and whatever one, put yourself at the discretion of those who are here. So that's what I would say.
Chechnya, of course, as we said, an Islamic Republic of Russia that has been fighting a civil war against Russian forces for many years there, a ruinous civil war. One report indicated that this family was actually a family of refugees from that civil war, but there's a great deal, of course, that we do not know for sure at this point. We are expecting a news conference at any moment that will help us fill in some of these things. We have Don Dahler, who is in Watertown now and has been watching as this manhunt has unfolded. Don, what have you seen?
Well, Scott, just seconds ago, 2 Army Black Hawk helicopters, I believe they might be National Guard, just flew over the scene. There's been a police helicopter also hovering over part of it, and we are awaiting the press conference. We've been told it's Mayor Menino and Governor Patrick who will be speaking to update everybody on the situation as soon as possible. The helicopter actually circling around. That might be the dignitaries there coming in that way. I'll let you know as soon as I know. But ever since around 2 a.m. this morning, the police established a cordon a little bit further down from here. And officers, National Guardsmen have been pouring into this area. And what they've been doing and what we've seen is it's absolutely extraordinary. The house-to-house searches with SWAT team members very carefully approaching these houses, going up after all the pleas for people to stay inside. If you can still hear me, there's a helicopter right overhead. For people to stay inside their houses, not to come out, not to open their doors to anyone except for a uniformed police officer. And that has extended throughout not just this area, but they've been closing off most of Boston to that. They want people to do what's called sheltering in place while these teams go house to house, Scott. And as I said, it's been very methodical. They've been very careful because, as you know, this individual has been described as armed and exceedingly dangerous.
Don, thank you very much. As we listen to Don, I want to remind you of the police officer who was killed overnight. His name is Sean Collier. He was a campus police officer working for the Massachusetts Institute of Technology University there. He was 26 years old and joined the police force just in 2012. So apparently new to the force. Here's the picture. That's Sean Collier. Apparently last night, the 2 suspects in the Boston Marathon bombing robbed a 7-Eleven, and at some point during that, they encountered Officer Collier and shot him several times in the head before making their escape from that scene, carjacking another car, throwing the driver of that car out, and then leading police and federal agents on a running gun battle chase through the city of Boston, throwing explosives. There was a pitched battle at a certain point. The older of the 2 suspects, Tamerlan Tsarnaev, 26 years old, was shot dead apparently by the authorities. His brother, Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, 19 years old, is on the loose in Boston, the subject of one of the most intensive manhunts in the history of the country. There is a picture of Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, the man they are searching for now. John Miller has been following these events all night long. And John, I wonder, what can you fill us in on how this search is proceeding?
Well, it's a large perimeter, a 20-block area. That's a search that's going to take a long, long time. And the only reason to call off a search like that is if you find the suspect somewhere out of that perimeter. So I think we're going to be seeing these pictures for some time. The way you do this is you divide it up into quadrants. You have a unified command post that runs the search that has the actual incident commander as well as representatives from the various departments that have contributed SWAT teams. and you go over that territory and you clear one quadrant at a time. In the meantime, you keep that perimeter on the outside, so if the person you're looking for tries to move out, you should be able to see that.
And we're watching videotape now of this search that has been going on all morning. This is the kind of thing that we've been seeing house to house, block to block in Boston. John, obviously the Boston police are the SWAT team fully kitted up with assault weapons and heavy body armor.
You've got the Boston Police SWAT team, the entire team there. You've got the Cambridge SWAT team, and you have the SWAT teams from the departments from around the area. You've got FBI SWAT there. Because you've got such a large perimeter, they really had to take this as a mutual aid situation where they brought in everybody, federal agencies included.
Clearly, the suspects in the bombing have had no concern about killing innocent people and killing police officers. So this search is being done with as much safety as possible in mind as the police officers move from place to place. We've seen bomb squad officers fully dressed up in bomb-resistant suits going into certain locations where police believe they have found suspicious packages of one kind or another. But what was clear from this morning's shootout with police is that these bombers had built a number of bombs and had quite a few explosives, because in addition to the 2 bombs that were used on Monday on the attack on the Marathon, a number of bombs were thrown at police. Let's listen to this just for a moment. This is part of what occurred overnight.
There's explosions and gunfire going on down the street.
That was the scene last night during the firefight with the bombers. The sound that can only be described as combat in the city of Boston. The President of the United States and the Vice President have been in the White House Situation Room. They have been briefed by a number of people there. Also in the White House Situation Room have been the Secretary of State, John Kerry, the Head of Homeland Security, Janet Napolitano, and the Director of the FBI and the Attorney General of the United States. All of this has been followed closely by the President and his team. We have just been handed a statement from the family of the police officer who was killed overnight, apparently by the bomb suspects, police officer Sean Collier, a man who we have a picture of as well. He was 26 years old, new to the police department at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And the Collier family has given us a statement that says, "We are heartbroken by the loss of our wonderful and caring son and brother, Sean Collier. Our only solace is that Sean died bravely, doing what he committed his life to do, serving and protecting others. We are thankful for the outpouring of support and condolences offered by so many people. We are grieving his loss."
And we're obviously way behind, but it's indicative of the leads we continue to run down here. And things change. They change quickly, and sometimes we have to change direction. I want to begin by saying we are progressing through this neighborhood, going door to door, street to street. We're well over 60 or 70% of what we want to cover up there. We do not have any development to tell you in terms of that search up there. There has been no apprehension at this point. The second thing I want to talk about just briefly is this afternoon there will be a controlled explosion, if you will, by some of the explosive ordnance folks over in Cambridge. That's going to happen on Norfolk Street at a house that we have secured earlier today. It's done out of an abundance of caution. It's done for the safety of the law enforcement officials that are over there before they proceed with a search of that premises. So that will be happening this afternoon as well. Our plan at this point is we are going to continue with following up in that neighborhood. We've got several other new leads that just developed within the last few minutes, and we're working on that. And I will be back here, I hope, within an hour or slightly above that, to give you the next briefing. Should we have any development between now and then, I'll be back even sooner. So I want to turn it over to Chief DeVoe, please, from Watertown.
Thank you, Colonel. I want to thank the media for getting the word out. There's been a lot of heroic actions as you hear about the next few days. What happened last night and early this morning and all over the last couple of days, as everybody knows. But I also want to speak to the Watertown community. You've done great. We've done everything we've asked, but we need some more time. You have to stay in your homes, stay in place. As the Colonel said, we still have some work to do. Even after we clear the area, there's a major crime scene down there that's going to take some time. But I've been assured to all the gentlemen behind me that they're not going to leave until the town is safe. So it may go today, tomorrow, and over the weekend before we have that whole crime scene under control. But the Watertown community has always stood strong, and I've asked them to do that this morning, and they've done terrific, and I want to thank them. Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Being losers, hatred to those who were able to settle themselves. These are the only reasons I can imagine of. Anything else to do with religion, with Islam, it's a fraud, it's a fake.